Hello everyone. So we are back in daily cybersecurity news, and for 27th February we got 5 news to report. So the first one is latest WinRAR flaw being exploited in the wild to hack Windows computers. WinRAR is a popular Windows file compression application with 500 million users worldwide. But a critical absolute path traversal bug with the number CVE 2018-20250 in its old third-party library called UNACEV2.dll could allow attackers to extract a compressed executable file from the ACE archive to one of the Windows startup folders, where the file would automatically run on the next reboot. To successfully exploit the vulnerability and take full control over the targeted computers, all an attacker needs to do is just convincing users into opening the malicious crafted compressed archive file using WinRAR. Just a day after the Checkpoint's blog post and a proof of concept video, which we have added in our YouTube comment section, which went viral, to the public, a proof of concept exploit code for the newly discovered WinRAR vulnerability was published to GitHub also, the same one. Security researchers at the 360 Threat Intelligence Center just yesterday detected an in the wild malspam email campaign that's distributing a malicious RAR archive file that exploits the latest WinRAR vulnerability to install malware on computers running the vulnerable version of the software. The best way to protect yourself from these attacks is to update your software by installing the latest version of WinRAR as soon as possible and avoid opening files received from unknown sources. Okay, moving on to the second news, which is hackers actively exploiting latest Drupal RCE flaw published last week. Okay, so cybercriminals have actively started exploiting an already patched security vulnerability in the wild to install cryptocurrency miners on vulnerable Drupal websites that have not yet applied patches and are still vulnerable. Last week, developers of the popular open source content management system Drupal patched a critical remote code execution vulnerability with the number CVE-2019-6340 in Drupal core that could allow attackers to hack affected websites. Despite releasing no technical details of the security vulnerability, the POC exploit code for the vulnerability was made publicly available on the internet just 2 days after the Drupal security rolled out the patched version in its software. Now, security researchers at data center security vendor Imperva discovered a series of attacks that began just a day after the exploit code went public against its customers. Websites using an exploit that leverages the CVE 2019-6340, which we mentioned earlier, security flaw. The attacks originated from several attackers and countries have found targeting vulnerable Drupal websites, including sites in government and the financial services industry, that are still vulnerable to the recently patched Drupal core vulnerability. According to the researchers, the attacks started on February 23rd this year, 2019, just 3 days after the Drupal developers patched the vulnerability and attempted to inject a JavaScript cryptocurrency miner named CoinIMP on the vulnerable Drupal website to mine Monero and WebChain cryptocurrencies for attackers. Similar to the infamous CoinHive service, CoinIMP is a browser-based cryptocurrency mining script that attackers inject into the index.php file of the vulnerable Drupal website so that site visitors will run the mining script and mine cryptocurrency when they browse the site's main page. Okay, moving on to the third news, which is newly discovered Marionette browser-based attack can allow attackers to control your browser. So a group of academics from Greece have come up with the new browser-based attack that can allow attackers to run malicious code inside users' browsers, even after the web page is closed, dubbed as Marionette. The new attack method is an upgrade to PuppetNet's attack that was discovered in 2007. Marionette opens doors to several other attacks for hackers. It can enable them to assemble giant botnets giant botnets from users' browsers and later use them to conduct various nefarious activities. This includes in-browse crypto mining, or called cryptojacking, DDoS attacks, malicious files hosting, sharing, distributed password cracking, creating proxy networks, advertising, click fraud, and traffic stats boosting. Marionette consists of two main components: an in-browser and a remote command and control system. It does not exploit any flaw on the victim systems and does not require any installation of any software. It leverages the power provided by service workers in modern browsers to initiate its infection process. According to the researchers, the worst part of the attack is that it can be launched silently on the browser without any type of user interaction. Okay, then moving on to the fourth news, which is NVIDIA patches security issues in GPU display driver for Windows and Linux. So NVIDIA released a security update for the NVIDIA GPU display driver software to patch 8 security issues that could lead to code execution, escalation of privileges, denial of service, or information disclosure on both Windows and Linux machines. While all these software flaws require local user access and cannot be exploited remotely, attackers could take advantage of them by remotely planting malicious tools through various means on a software running a vulnerable NVIDIA GPU display driver. The issues come with CVSS version 3 base scores ranging from 2.2 to 8.8, with 5 of them having received an 8.8 risk assessment from NVIDIA, while the 2.2 base score was assigned to the only flaw affecting both Windows and Linux machines. All users were advised to update their drivers as soon as possible by applying the security update available on NVIDIA driver downloads page. And the last one, Madras University comes under ransomware attack. Madras is in India, so here was the news. The database of the University of Madras faced a serious threat in the form of ransomware, a malicious software attack, on Monday, following which the data was encrypted and the attacker demanded a ransom of Rs 18 lakh to restore access to the data. But the university escaped the attack as it had stored the backup data on the non-network system. The technical team was able to recover the backup data and restored it in the new server within 2 hours of the attack. So, sources in the university have said this thing. When one of the staff members opened a mail with malware, it had encrypted all the data in the data server and denied access. Okay, that's all for today's news. Thank you guys and girls.